Okay, great. So we will start now. And what I will do, so my name is Leah Ramachandra, and I will introduce myself through the email, during the presentation. Hi, Aaron. Good. Everyone is there. My husband, who is the co-founder of our brand, he's also here. You want to say hi? Sorry, we're trying to fit into the video. So he's a physician. So hi, Jen. Hi. So if there are like any medical questions, you guys can also ask. So what I will do when we tried yesterday, when I share my presentation, you will see the full screen. Hi, Jen. I won't be able to see your questions. So what I will do, if you don't mind, I will show the presentation. Jen is saying, so good to finally see you. And we'll go to the presentation. Probably will take 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. And afterwards, I'll close the presentation, so I'll be able to also see your questions, and we can go through all the questions as well, if that's okay with you. So let me try this. I'm going to share my screen in the presentation mode. So I will be talking today about why gluten-free skincare and also allergen-free skincare and cosmetics is so important when you have various allergies or autoimmune diseases or even just sensitive skin. So first of all, who am I and why you should even listen to me? So first of all, I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. So you might be hearing them as they're now waking up. And I'm a wife. So my husband is here. He is a medical doctor, immuno-oncologist. And now he's working in the pharmaceutical company as one of the executives. And my whole life, I worked in various pharmaceutical companies until 2 years ago when I left to start Epilinks, which is a skincare company. And I'll talk a little bit more about this. So my background, I'm a pharmacist by background, and I have a PhD in analytical chemistry and drug development. A little bit of kind of who am I? I was born in Russia. I grew up in the Netherlands, and I worked in Netherlands, of course, Middle East, Eastern Europe, England, and US. And really for the last 15 years, I worked at Hospira, that became Pfizer, Takeda, and Astellas in medical affairs and ethics and compliance. So really my background is in science and chemistry. So I was diagnosed with psoriasis when I was 6 years old. And after my 3rd child was born 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with gluten intolerance. And I also saw that while I was using really good products on my body and good shampoos, I had a lot of rash on my face. And it wasn't just from psoriasis, but it was really kind of a very weird redness on my face and throughout my body. So I started looking into what I was using, and I saw that a lot of products contained wheat gluten. And so then I said, okay, that's probably because I have gluten intolerance. I'm using something that will give me GI issues that will also reflect on my skin. Let me try to make something for myself, a cream. As a pharmacist, I knew how to do it, and that will not contain wheat. And wheat is in many products because it is a very, as you may know, very cheap and very good binding needle. So also for skincare, it's a great binding needle. So I made one for me. I started using it, and I saw the rash really disappear. So then I said, you know, if it helps me, it might help many other people. And so I said to my husband, let me focus on this full time and really start making gluten-free skincare. That was the original kind of mission. And once I started making gluten-free skincare, and I started talking to a lot of people with celiac disease or gluten intolerance. I also realized that it wasn't just gluten that many people were sensitive to, or of course, had celiac disease. So it's a disease, but also they were allergic to many other things, such as corn, such as casein, which is dairy, such as nuts. Of course, many of us are allergic to that, such as shellfish. So then I said, okay, why not just focus on not on just gluten-free, but also make skincare that's also allergen-free, and so it will be safe to use for many people that have various conditions. So let me see. So this is basically a couple of numbers. There are more than 3 million people in US alone who have celiac disease. And there are 18 million people in US that have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, and a lot of people are not diagnosed or underdiagnosed, or still trying to figure out what gives them, bloating or rash or any other unpleasant effects. There are 32 million people in US with eczema. 20% of children have eczema, and they may grow out of it, or they may be stuck with it their whole life. There are, sorry, you probably can hear my kids. There are more than 8 million people with psoriasis in just US. And of course, allergies, there are more than 50 million people in US with allergies, just diagnosed in the past year. So it's a huge, huge, huge number. And many of us, again, sometimes don't know what allergy we may have. So really, there are two most common types of skin reactions. One is really irritation that, your doctor may call it contact dermatitis. It can be to anything you put on the skin. It can be to a beauty product, that's the most common, or a cream that even you may get from a pharmacy. It also can be, as you see now, as we all are wearing masks, I hear from a lot of people that they do have rash, where the mask touches the face, and you see that a lot now as well. And there are, of course, real skin allergies where there's a real allergic contact dermatitis, and it can be incredibly painful, very itchy, and it really can even lead to blisters. And usually what you also see, especially in medicated skincare, that it's fragrances and preservatives besides everything else that really are causing those irritations. So this is one of the cases. So this is a man with contact dermatitis on his face that came from using a product that was labeled as natural and organic. And why I'm saying this, it is because that very often we see something natural, we see something organic, and we think, oh, that's great, that'll be good for us. But it doesn't mean that it will be good. In fact, it can be associated with a lot of allergies. And very often, natural means that there are so many other ingredients in there that are not extracted in the lab to do their specific working, but there are maybe 80% of ingredients that are extra and they are natural, but associated with plants or grass, and we can be very allergic to that as well. So it is very important not just trust when you see something natural and organic, but really read the labels and read the ingredients. This is something that excuse me, I'll have some water. So this is something that also, again, like I said, natural oils. This is a woman who used natural oils on her skin to clean her skin in the morning, because oil is very good to use, just a simple oil to clean your skin, because it will dissolve a lot of impurities. But again, a natural oil, you need to be making sure you know what else is in there besides that natural oil, and where it is sourced. Like when we buy our ingredients, we always have certificate of analysis. We have the SDS, or safety data sheet. We know exactly what goes in there. That's very, very important to see. So basically, like I said, natural and organic, Thank you. Doesn't always mean safe. Natural, not chemical movement is actually not the greatest movement, right? So again, I'm not saying natural is bad. It's great when you look at many medicines, they are derived from either living organisms or plants, right? But what we do, we make sure it is isolated, that we know exactly what product is responsible for a specific action, and that product is specifically isolated. So there's nothing wrong with chemical. It just we need to know what type of chemical. And again, very often, I know what that noise was. Very often also repeated exposure to some very natural products can also lead to an allergic reaction. So, again, this is saying that don't blindly trust the label, but really look at the ingredients, look where it's sourced, look where it's made, and also always don't hesitate to write to the manufacturers and ask your questions about the ingredients, and they should be able to answer. If they are not, then there's something wrong with that. What I will do, I will quickly do escape presentation just to make sure you guys are still there. Okay, yes, perfect. Just to make sure it's all still good. So again, coming to natural, organic. So when you, like I said, it's very important to check the ingredients. And what I always do when people buy something and it's for their eye cream, or it is face cream, or even if it's a body cream, I always say do a skin patch test. So put it on your hand, and on back of the hand or front of the hand, or very often you just put it like she shows on your side of the neck, and see if I would wait for definitely a few hours, and preferably a day, to see if there is any redness or any allergic reaction that you may have before putting it on your face or anywhere that can be really exposed to other people. Everything else you can cover for a day. So, and this is very important, and I will let Sumant also talk. So people ask me, and it's here where I come to really gluten and allergies. People ask me well, you're putting it on the skin, you're not ingesting it, you're not eating it, right? But skin is really our largest organ. So everything that we put on our skin will get absorbed one way or another into our digestive tract. It can be absorbed really via the cuts, and I will show it in the next slide to really understand more. It can be absorbed through the lesions that we may have, like people with psoriasis and eczema always have lesions on their skin. It can be absorbed, of course, by the eyes. If you put an eyeliner around your eye, or eye cream, or mascara, or anything, or eyeshadows. It can also be absorbed by your mouth or any other mucosal membranes. Sumant, do you want to say something about the skin as a physician?
Yeah. So
they can't see like this.
Okay. The skin is
they
okay. Okay. The skin is a very important organ. We don't think of it as the same way as we do, for example, eating something. But we have to remember that when we eat something, the acids in the stomach really break a lot of things down. So when it gets through the stomach, so it has to be pretty sturdy, what we call stability. It has to be very stable to get through the gut. On the other hand, with the skin, if it is an oil-based substance, it tends to get actually absorbed. And there's been a lot of discussion, is gluten can even get through the skin? And as Leah has said, intact gluten, and gluten is made up of different types of molecules, can not get through the skin. But most of the time when we're treating sensitive skin, we have lesions, and lesions are cuts, they're acne, there are eczema, and all those items. The other thing that's very common that we do, and we don't even realize we do it, we actually put our hands to our face constantly. So whenever we put our hand in our face and then we put it by our mouth, we're constantly exchanging the items that are on our skin to our mouth, to our eyes. We rub our eyes. So the idea of skincare and cosmetics and making sure it's gluten-free or allergen-free is critically important, because we put skincare around the mouth, around cosmetics around the eye, we put cosmetics around the mouth. Those items are very important. So Leah, if you want to walk through this particular slide and why gluten, okay, gets through, for example, or why allergens get through.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so exactly. So you can see on the slide the biggest myth, and it's sad, actually. Sumant and I were talking, because even very reputable organizations focusing on celiac disease. Even I saw, when I was doing this research, I saw on YouTube some physicians from Mayo Clinic and others, they say gluten is too large to penetrate the skin, which is true. So you don't need to have gluten-free skincare or cosmetics, or allergen-free, right? Even if you're allergic to those allergens, which is so not true. And as Suman just explained, it will get absorbed. And yeah, if you have gluten intolerance, like I do, I might not get sick, true, unless I use lipstick with gluten. I will get sick, because then I do eat that lipstick throughout the day. But if you have celiac disease, or if you have nut allergy, or you have, any other real allergy, you will get sick. You may get sick. You may get a really adverse reaction to that. So it's very, very important. And I think what we spend a lot of time is really that education on the importance of having skincare that is gluten-free, that is allergen-free. Also, a lot of shampoos and conditioners, and I'm not sure if you ever looked at the labels. When you look at the label, most conditioners are made with wheat, and they might not say it, but a lot of keratin-based conditioners, on the label you see keratin, but when you buy it from many manufacturers, it is made with gluten, basically, but it's not in the label, because because you don't have to you just put the ingredient in there. So you don't know. And when you use shampoo, it gets also absorbed through your scalp, especially if you have anything on your scalp, in your eyes. It runs on your face. It runs through your mouth. So it is extremely. It can give you a lot of adverse events, and that's why when people come to me and say, I'm diagnosed with celiac at an older age. I follow gluten-free diet, and yet I still have. I have rash on my skin, or I still have adverse events. What do I do? So I always say, well, check your skincare and make sure that your skincare is gluten-free, or if you have any allergens, is allergen-free. And we'll go through that. So guys, write your questions down, so then we will switch the presentation off and you'll be able to see us and we can answer everything. Another thing is also, you probably have seen, even many dermatologists say, oh yes, scalp is the same, it's just extension of your face, it's kind of the same as your face, so it's okay, you can put whatever you want on your scalp, which is not true. So there are 3 big differences between scalp and the rest of your skin. So Sumant, you want to quickly talk about it?
So the big thing is that the scalp, okay, is one of the thickest skins in the body, and that doesn't mean that nothing gets absorbed in it. It carries a ton of blood vessels, and that's one of the reasons why head wounds bleed so much, and they're so difficult to stop bleeding, and sometimes need sutures, because it's filled with blood vessels. And by the fact that it's filled with blood vessels means it actually is basically absorbing quite a bit, because the blood is the way that when things get through the skin barrier, they get absorbed in the body. The blood vessels are the ones that absorb it. Your skin contains a lot of sebaceous glands. Sebaceous glands, you know it because you've probably heard that term when it comes to acne. These are the glands that produce a lot of the oils, of your natural oils in your skin, which is called sebum. Okay, and it protects the hair, because the hair follicle is coming out of the skin, and it basically oils that particular follicle. But along with that, that's also an absorption point, because it has all the sebaceous glands with the oil base. And remember what we said, skin absorption of any ingredient is enhanced when there's oil around. So either the material that you're putting on your scalp or your skin contains the oil, or the oil in your face or your scalp is absorbing whatever the ingredient is, dissolving it and taking it into the body. And then also your scalp has a lot of hair follicles. In fact, even if you're bald, the reality is that your hair follicles are still open, okay? And it has the most hair follicles than any other area of the skin, which is also an entry point. Remember, hair follicles are openings in the skin so the hair can come out, but they're also entry points for chemicals and ingredients to get in. So the scalp is not free of allergies or free of absorption. In fact, one of the ways Leah found out that she was actually sensitive is she cut out the gluten, she got better, but she was still getting a little bit of the reaction by her scalp and her face. And she's like, what's going on? And that's how she found out. She's a chemist and she's a pharmacist. She looked at the ingredients. She started looking at their websites and found out that they were sourcing it from wheat-based products, and even though they were calling it by a chemical name, which is quite common and it's quite normal, okay, in the world. But if you have a sensitivity and you don't know that, you're constantly putting that on your skin, your scalp. So that's why essentially she started this company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know the funny thing is, so this summer we had PharmD interns, and who were making skincare in my lab. And one guy, and you know, they would make something and they would always take home, you know, put it, and also like try it out. So one guy is actually bald. So he said, you know, I tried to moisturize my scalp because I thought, well, it can't hurt. And it was really hot that day, and it was so bad because he couldn't sweat. Yes. Remember?
Yeah.
It's right. It
was so, there's so many pores.
And, yes, he couldn't sweat, and he said, I almost was so nauseous. I'd almost vomit. I couldn't sweat anymore. So I'm like, don't put skincare on your scalp, even if you're bald. So
a very light water-based moisturizer is best for your scalp. That's it.
Yes, exactly. No oil-based moisturizer.
No heavy moisturizer.
So really, so that's that. And again, so like most of our products are vegan. There's only one line that's not vegan, and we really made that choice. And it's very hard because when you look at many natural products, right? Again, I said natural doesn't mean necessarily good, but also many brands that call themselves clean, you know, and clean meaning clean from allergens or gluten. They use still a lot of products that are not vegan. For example, like the lip balms that we all love, they contain beeswax meaning it's not vegan. So so that's one thing. And of course now with more awareness and people, you know, I think number one, doing it for ethical reasons, number two, also doing it for health reasons. I think it's also important that we focus on vegan skincare. That's one. And second, also on cruelty-free. There is really many people, when I talk to dermatologists and allergists, it's interesting, they do ask me, well, what kind of test did you do? And I said, well, we measured for, of course, nuts, we measure for gluten, you know, the normal ELISA tests. We do some patch tests, but we don't test on animals because really, there's so many alternatives at this point to animal testing. So really, there's no excuse to say, oh, we need to test on animals. It's really not worth it. There's a lot of in vitro testing that people can do. Like I said, there are patch tests that we can do. So I really, really tell everyone there's no excuse anymore to test on animals.
And in fact, many ingredients that have already been proven to be safe are published on websites that tell you that this has already been proven to be safe and no animal testing is needed. And that's essentially what Leah focused on in everything she did, so that she didn't have to go through animal testing.
Mm-hmm. So, and this, and we're coming to the end soon, because I know we've been talking for half an hour already. So when you look at different ingredients, right? And I say, number one, when you see all this type of ingredients that you can't even pronounce, it's already, you know, raises a red flag. That's number one. And really, like I said, labels do require almost a chemistry degree to even understand what it says. So really don't hesitate when you don't know something to go to the manufacturer. They have to be able to tell you why it's there, and they should list it on their products either it's with QR code that leads to their website, but they should list why, what ingredients are in that specific product that you are using. And when I say, and also I always say, if you see more than, I would say 20 or 30 ingredients in a shampoo or conditioner or skincare, don't use it, because it means that most of it is most likely just ballast to make it either look good or smell good or feel good or glide good. Your skin does not need that. You know, these are not just, I always say, just focus on the active ingredients that will do the right thing for your skin, that will interact on the way you want it to interact with the cells in the skin, and really the less is more, even in skincare. And again, this is really, I think, one of our, our last slide, one of the last slides. So most skincare, like I said, is not allergen-free, is not gluten-free. So I always say, please look at the label. Please make sure you know what's in there. Please write to manufacturers. It is important that you know exactly what you're putting on your skin. When it is scientifically designed, it's the best. I'm not saying that it needs to be by dermatologists or healthcare professionals, but it is good to know that it's not Kim Kardashian designed your skincare, you know, but that it is designed by people who know what needs to be going in there. And you know, I think a lot of skincare is still not made in US. You know, it's still sourced very often from outside of US. Of course, a lot of skincare, such as, you know, Chanel or L'Oreal, they're made in Paris, they're made in France. But it is important to always see where it is made. And I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying it can be contaminated with something, or it could be something that you know, it's made in the facility that is not allergen free or is not gluten free, and made kind of in a mass production, and can be contaminated with something. I'm not saying that you always have to buy skincare that's made here in US, but it is just important to know, and you should be able to go to manufacturer, ask for that certificate of analysis, or ask for how it's made, or why specific ingredients are used in there, or why they're not used in there. So that leads me to the end of my presentation. This is really kind of summary. Really, I want to leave you with, read the label with all of its ingredients. Natural and organic doesn't always mean it is safe. And like I said, gluten-free and allergen-free skincare, I hope I convinced you that it is very important, especially when you have allergies, autoimmune disorders, or sensitive skin. And really, just again, like I said, clean and natural is great, but read the ingredients to make sure it is really clean and natural. And clean meaning clean from allergies and gluten. And stay safe, stay healthy, stay beautiful, and you know, really focus on yourself, especially in this time of COVID and everything else we're living in. And so thank you so much for listening to my lecture. I am going to stop sharing. Let me see. Perfect. So I am now back, and then Sumant is next to me. I can move a little bit so you guys can see. So now they should be able to see us. Let me see. I'm quickly going through all the comments. Because I don't think people can ask me questions, so it needs to be here. And I'm going to, what I understood, I need to read the questions for you guys to hear it, and then I'll give an answer. So one of the questions, is it bad to use face creams that are past their expiration date? So it's interesting. Yes, the question is yes.
Typically what happens is that many creams are based on a mix between water-based ingredients and or some oil-based ingredients, and over time those creams start to separate out. Okay, So it's not the same cream as during that expiry period, that before the expiry period. So our suggestion is to always, whenever you bought it, use it within that expiration date, and not keep it much longer than that. I've actually seen it in our own home where sometimes we have sampled 4 or 5 different creams, and then we go back for 2 years, and we go back to it, and you open the jar, and it looks like it's completely a different separation and different phases. I've even tried to mix it with my fingers,
but you will see a different color. And the thing is, and separation is not always good, right? Some of them are, or like even like the face washes or cleansers are usually 2-phase, right? You just need to mix it. Same with serums. Some of our serums are 2-phase. You just need to mix it. But it's really, if it smells a bit rancid, it could be that some biological, I can't even speak.
So like a bacteria or fungus
growing in there, because and especially in a lot of natural, like really like natural in a good word, not many preservatives are used. Like we don't use parabens and phthalates. We use natural preservatives such as willow bark, and yeah, it won't last more than a year. It won't protect the skincare against the growth of
once opened.
Once it's opened, yeah.
Okay, good.
Let me see the next one. Where are your products manufactured? So yeah, so we manufacture everything here. So I'm based in Lincolnshire in Chicago. It's northern suburbs of Chicago, and our lab is about 20 minutes from here. It's in Libertyville. And so we manufacture everything there. We just had this summer, like I said, PharmD interns, engineering interns, also manufacturing skincare. I develop all the formulas myself and formulate them and test them first. And then when we go into larger production, we make everything there.
And if you follow her on LinkedIn or on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see a lot of the pictures of the lab and how she's making stuff, and sometimes a video shows up. So it's actually a fun process because she has spent some time actually photographing, and
but that's like the best thing to
it's
to
fun.
be in the lab,
just to make it fun and for people to see. And but it's right here, 20 minutes away from our home in Libertyville, Illinois.
Yes. Let me see. I always have to scroll up because questions are coming. So my husband has eczema but refuses to change his diet, as most of us do, or don't. Will a change in skincare alone help, or does he have to change his diet as well? So as a medical doctor, what do you
So if your husband knows what is causing his eczema, it's probably best to avoid those foods. I do also have eczema. I don't have a severe form. I have a mild to moderate form, depends on the season. And typically it's related to certain types of foods I eat. So I've avoided that. But then what I do is actually I apply, because I'm prone to it. And you can't completely get rid of some certain types of foods. So I actually do put moisturizer on my eczema spots. Mine tend to be in the back of the neck, for example, or behind the ear, on my arm sometimes. So using a skincare product will help alleviate it a little bit. But truly to treat it, you need to get rid of what you think is the source causing the inflammatory immunological response that causes eczema or even psoriasis or other things.
Yeah, no, I was smiling because I test. When people say, did you do any testing? So I said, no, not on animals, but on my husband. So I test all the new products on him.
I was the animal.
So next question is, will the refined oils used in soap be absorbed in skin? Yes, they will.
So soap has also what's called detergent.
Yes.
Okay. And that's supposed to break up things, but it has to use the oils in the soap, okay, and the water base to break up whatever it is. But the oils can get absorbed just by the nature of putting soap on your skin and scrubbing it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And also be careful because a lot of soaps, they use like the cleansers. So the soap, the hand washes, the cleansers, they use a lot of very harsh ingredients that you really don't need for your face. You don't even need it in the shampoo, and definitely not on your face. It strips your face from all the oils. Like I really We just manufactured new cleanser. It's not out yet. I'm using that in the evening, and really morning I just use water. So I would say less is more. So just use once, and don't use harsh. Just as mild as possible for any skin, even if you have a normal skin.
And remember one thing: when you use a scrub, you're actually causing tiny little micro tears in your skin. Okay, because it's scrubbing, and they're very tiny micro tears. So just be cautious of that too.
Yes. So the next question is, are your ingredients organic? Yes. So our ingredients are organic. We are sourcing them from organic farms here in US. So all is sourced in US, or from pharmaceutical companies such as J&J or Thermo Fisher. And we're doing that because I really don't know that I will get that 100% purity that we need in ingredients. And they always send, it's manufactured in GMP facilities, so good manufacturing practice. We know that it is not free, it is gluten-free. So we really know what we are getting then. So I'm not, we're not sourcing it anywhere else.
And the great thing that she's a chemist, she actually asked for the ingredient sheet and the purity sheet as for the products, which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What is in vitro testing?
Yeah, then you want to answer
so
that?
In vitro testing basically means something that's not done in the body. In vivo means it's done inside in vivo. In vitro means outside. So in vitro can be on a cell, or it can be on chemicals interacting with each other in a test tube. So anything that's not in the body or on the body is typically considered in vitro.
Yes. By the way, guys, if you see my eye red, as I was getting ready, I put hydrogen peroxide with my contact.
Poor
so,
labeling.
That was not good. I should have read those labels. Let me see.
Hi from Pennsylvania.
Hi back. What is your return policy? For 1 second. Oops. I need to, because questions are coming. And then, what is your return policy? For example, if I had a reaction to one of your products. Usually when you have a reaction to one of our products, I always say, first of all, I always say, do a skin test, right? Put it on your hand or put it here. Don't put it on your face immediately. That's number one. And yes, if you have a reaction, then you can return those products.
Are you sharing the slide deck later on with people, or no?
I can't upload it because we can send it, but I can't. I can ask Jen from Nourished. You know, if you want to send it, if people ask for that, but I couldn't
There's a
PDF
YouTube
it.
video on how to do.
Yeah, I couldn't PDF it because it's too large. It's too large. So
on YouTube, there's a video of exactly how to do a patch test.
Oh, patch test. That's and you can write to me, and I will show you if you need the reference. Let me see. What are the biggest challenges in creating allergen-free skincare products? So yeah, that's correct. Come.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, the biggest challenge is really the sourcing. So that takes a lot of time. So I have a couple of really great partnerships with larger companies that I work with, that I exactly know how they produce it, where they produce it. You know, so it's really I would say it's not manufacturing, because making a product, because that's you can make as any other product, but it's really the sourcing. That's number one. Number two is, of course, having a facility that is completely clean and free from all those allergens. Like when I have interns in the lab, I said you can't bring any drink, but water even, because I don't know what's in that drink. Definitely no food, no nothing. So I think that's one of the challenges. Another challenge is, because we are gluten-free and allergen-free and like paraben, phthalates free, it's formulation in terms of how do you make sure it all sticks together, right? It doesn't come out of formulation. How do you make sure it still smells good? We're not using any fragrances. We're using natural oils and oils that won't irritate your skin. So how do you make sure you still have nice product that looks good, that smells good, that feels good on your skin, but it is allergen-free and gluten-free and natural? Going down. Next question is, hi, I love your, oops, it always skips when some question comes up. Hi, I love your glasses and wanted to try the $14 one and the $9 one with the code 25 off, but your cart area doesn't show the shades, so I'm having trouble purchasing. Can you write to me? So when you go on our website, you will see email. It's glutenfree@epilix.com. If you can write to me, I will make sure that this will get resolved, and I'll make sure I can send you the pictures of the glosses. Okay, next one is, how do you find what is the best for your skin type on your website for serum and face cream? So usually it is hard, yes, because we have a lot of products. I always say write to me, because then I can ask those questions, and based on that, I can determine what product may work for you. Like, for example, we have acne products that we also released, but if you don't have acne, this is not the product for you. If you use acne product while you don't have acne, you will have breakout. So, and we are also working on a skincare app that will be also on our website, but also will be web-based. And so you'll be able to put all those questions, like how old you are, what type of skin you think you have, what type of allergies, diseases, etc. It's all confidential. We don't see that data. And then it will tell you what company. So it's not just for Epilinks. We're doing this really for people with gluten allergy and with celiac, with gluten and other allergies. It will basically bring you to either Epilinks or we have, I think, 20 different companies that we vetted and that think that may be good. And it will then bring you to that company specific product that might be good for you. So, but in doubt, always you can write to me and I will answer within an hour. Let me see, just have some water.
So I'll read the question. Mm-hmm. Loved your presentation. My husband suffers from chronic dermatitis. His diet is completely gluten-free. We are at a loss to figure out why his hands are chronically broken out, inflamed, and painful. Could it possibly be from his shampoo? Do you manufacture shampoo? So I'll answer the last part. Yeah. Epilinks does not today manufacture shampoo. Leah has put a lot of formulas together, and she's slowly working her way through them. And as someone asked, there are a lot of products in. But
can you answer the question?
Yeah,
but it's more medical.
Yeah, it's a more medical. So number one is that I think the key thing is that you have to find the source of what that is. It could be shampoo. It could be conditioner. If he definitely has been diagnosed with celiac or gluten allergy, you have to read the label of the things that he's putting on his hands. Sometimes actually liquid soap contains wheat-based products also in it. So when you wash your hands, the other thing is if his hands are really cracked and chapped, and while he's figuring it out, make sure that after washing hands, even with water, just to put a mild cream on the hands. So, and of course, make sure that if he has gluten sensitivity, to make sure it's a gluten-free cream.
And it could be also something else. Like I have psoriasis, and when I am at, even though I am using oral therapy for that, when I'm stressed or when it's colder weather, I do have those breakouts as well. And it's very hard to treat with just diet, unfortunately.
Yeah. And when in doubt, always talk to your doctor, your healthcare professional. It's really, really important that you get the best medical advice from your healthcare professional who knows you the best.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. The next question is, and Connie, yes, I see your question, but there are a few questions before yours. So yes, because I saw you writing. So you want to read that one?
Can the psoriatic arthritis rash be made worse with allergens in food and skincare products? Yes, the answer is yes.
Definitely.
So the rash definitely can be. So anything that, so psoriatic arthritis is an inflammatory condition. So it's an immune reaction. So anything that is triggering that can actually be made worse by things that trigger being in the food or skincare product. Yes.
Like for example, it's like psoriasis, right? So like if I eat too many nightshades, right? So like tomatoes, like what are those the ones that you like?
Eggplant.
Eggplant. Like I can't speak anymore.
Yeah.
Eggplant, and I do have more rash, you know. So it's causing more inflammation in your gut, in your microbiome, you know, and then that of course reacts not just inside your body but also outside on your skin. So the next one is Connie. Yes. So I have
prurigo nodularis.
Yes.
Okay. So and so is shampoo and foundation okay to use? So clearly we wash our hair once in a while. I always say, you know, if you have concerns or sensitivities, obviously make sure you identify the right product like a shampoo. And people don't have to wash their hair every day, by the way. I mean, just that's important. Everyone is slightly different, okay, in terms. So less frequent, as long as your hair is the consistency that you want. The answer is yes, you can use shampoo, just the right one. Foundation, I don't know much about, so I will leave that to you. And this is a nodularis. The nodules come in. Yeah,
yes,
you know,
yeah. So yes, you can use foundation, but be very careful what's in that foundation. So again, read all the ingredients. A lot of foundations have wheat in there, or other, or what's some
block the pores.
Yeah, definitely. And also very heavy foundations will block the pores, definitely. Like, you know, like sometimes you see people like faces plastered. It's just like very heavy foundation. And so we have foundation that's very light, and there are a lot of good foundations on the market that just really very light. They still cover your face. Like sometimes I also need cover, you know, when I eat something and I have a rash coming out. So really because of psoriasis, but not something that will then make it worse.
And the one thing to notice that people put foundation on because they sometimes have skin blemishes, which may actually make it worse. Yeah. You're covering it, but you're actually, if you use a heavy foundation, you're actually also blocking the pores and the healing process. And then at nighttime, we always suggest using a very mild face wash to remove all the makeup and just put light cream on to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that you don't
go to sleep with it. It's heavier cream because your skin will be regenerating in the evening, and that's why like heavier creams that you usually would not use during the day because you'll feel a bit sticky or you feel like it's on your face, but for the night it's good because your skin will regenerate, so you'll wake up with a glowing face. Thank you, Jennifer, she said, love your knowledge. Hi, Emmy. Next question. I know we have 10 minutes. If you're new to your products, what do you recommend starting out with? So it will really depend on your skin, right? And you know what, you know, if you have oily skin, if you have, I would say kind of normal skin, and I don't know your age, I would say I always suggest Sunrise Serum and Cream. It's quite light. It's vegan also. It's something that I use every day, every morning, and I use our rejuvenation line in the evening. We also have Tone Repair Cream, which is light. We have CBD cream that many people who have larger pores really use and really like. So so I would say, like, out of blue, Sunrise Serum and Cream. But if you don't mind writing to me, and I can ask you a couple of questions, just really 4 questions for me to better understand what you are also looking for in your skincare routine, either changing or adding to what you're using at this point. So
skincare I use is actually different than what she uses because my skin type is very different.
Yeah.
My pores are much larger. So what I put on my face is actually quite different. So it always depends on your skin type. Sometimes she recommends starting with the lightest initially, just to make sure that, you know, you are comfortable with it, and then trying other things.
Yeah, like he's using, we made this summer for men, actually, it's an aftershave serum and cream in one, because as we know that men just want like something quick,
one step,
put it on and run.
Men only want one step,
right? And women also very often, like I do. And so yeah, we made it's serum, cream, aftershave in one. So when he shaves, he puts it on.
It's not stinging,
no,
anything like that.
It's still, it has products that are kind of sterilizing your skin, you know, after you, because you can have some cuts from shaving. So it makes sure it acts as aftershave, but it also moisturizing, so you can put it everywhere on your face as well. Let me see. Do you offer a moisturizer with sunblock? If not, what's your recommendation for sunblock? So yeah, so all our moisturizers actually have SPF. They do because we use iron oxide, or we use zinc oxide, but it's a very low SPF. It's probably SPF around 10 to 15. And we are just about now, we have a formula. I haven't made it yet. We are making one, just kind of a glow sunblock. So the one that doesn't have any color, and you can put it on top of your moisturizer. But I always recommend using sunblock, like our foundations have sunblock. And even in the winter, or even when it's not sunny, the UV, it's still high, and it will still get to your skin.
Yeah, and that's
an important, age your skin. Yes.
Yeah, so sun is one of the most damaging of anything that ages your skin or damages your skin. So we always recommend that unless you absolutely don't want to do it, wear a hat. Just kind of covers you, and some hats are fashionable. And I don't know, I started wearing a hat because even with my dark skin, I was getting burnt. So, but in any case, she's saying no, but I started wearing a hat.
So anyhow, you can't make people wear hats.
No, their choice.
Let me see. Interesting. Thank you. Order some. Thank you for ordering, and also other people. Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Christina. Let me see.
The site is running slow because everyone's.
I think we're all trying to shop at the same time, causing the site to run slow. Okay, that's good to know. I'll ask my developer what's going on. And then Konya, yes.
We answered,
do you see my questions? Yes, we answered those questions. I think we covered everything. We have 5 minutes left. So, no, that's great. So, guys, we still have 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, please type and we can answer. And otherwise, I think
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, what makes you excited for doing all the things that you're doing? I mean, clearly you're doing really well as an executive in a company, and
yes, well, that's a good question. So I think, and he knows, because that's how I go to bed and that's how I wake up. And I started this company, and it's okay, you can come.
You can come.
And come. I started.
Shh, we're talking. We're talking.
I started this company because I wanted to help people who are like me. People who have gluten intolerance, or people who have celiac, people who have autoimmune diseases. I've struggled with psoriasis my whole life, and there were times that really my whole body was covered. I mean, now again it's becoming worse. So I'm trying some of my creams now, but I want advice. I won't give that medical advice. But so really, what excites me is to help as many people as possible. I mean, here in US, Canada, that's where we ship. We also ship all over the world, but really in limited quantities. But we work with some allergen-free websites in Europe who order our products. And so that excites me. It excites me to learn from all the people what bothers them, or what they like, or what they don't like, and really making everyone hopefully happy. And that's why I'm doing this. And every time, that's why I said, please write to me every time I receive a note or an email. It makes me very, very happy. So, and this is the little...
This is our 4-year-old, and she was the one in the picture also before.
Yeah, in the lab, she's helping me.
Yeah, so...
So anyhow, well, thank you so much for listening. And write to me. I'm going to check out what's going on with the website. And thanks so much. Really, really enjoyed. Thanks, Jen, for hosting us. And there's one more question that came up, a few more minutes. Hi, I'm not sure what color foundation will be the best for me. What do I have to tell you when I contact you about my skin? Also, I love the golden light pink glosses, but they categorized in a warm or cool palette. So there's a lot of questions in there. I think if you just email me, hi, I'm Christina, I listened to your lecture, and I can, what I could do, if say you order something, just if you send me also a picture of you, I will be able to send you samples of the foundation that I think might work for your skin color, and then you'll be able then to decide what might work for you. One more question: do some of the hand sanitizers have gluten? Yes, they do. I used some. So again, it's a binding needle. And some of the, well, number one, you know that now FDA recalled more than 200 brands
that
hand
includes
sanitizers.
Hundreds beyond that types of hand sanitizers. Because of
impurities, because of various impurities, not just gluten, but also methanol.
There's also methanol.
That is impurity coming from ethanol. We don't use ethanol. We use isopropyl alcohol, so it's of highest purity. So it's not contaminated. A lot of glycerin that is used in hand sanitizers is can be derived from gluten or from corn. And like, yes, you may know, that's my dog, lots of people are also allergic to corn. So yes, so our hand sanitizers have only 4 ingredients. So, but it is moisturizing because we do use aloe vera and we use hyaluronic acid in there. To make sure that it stays moisturized the whole day. So yeah. So any questions? I know some more questions are coming, but any questions? I know I think I need to switch off. Somebody else will be joining, and please write to me, and I'll definitely answer to all of you. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.